What's going on, everybody? It's your boy PTK Blam back in the building with another episode of the Shop Podcast. How's everybody doing this weekend? We are back with another episode here. Hope everybody's feeling well. We're back. Got a lot of things to talk about. Kind of hanging out with three amigos here. No guests this week, but it's all good. We'll get somebody lined up next week. But we're going to rock out. Got a lot to talk about. Once again, make sure you're sharing the link on Twitter. All of that's in the description. Appreciate you guys every single week hanging out with us. Let us know in the chat what you guys are feeling, what you guys want to talk about, anything that we don't talk about. Once again, all of the questions and things like that are for you guys as well. So holla at your boy. Let's go ahead and get started. But we're going to go ahead and round the panel first like we always do. We're going to start with you, Stag. How you feeling this week? What you been playing? What you been up to, man?
Oh, I'm feeling really good, and I've been toying with the neighbor. It's a new game that you can only play in real life. But
I know, right?
That,
saw that.
you guys follow me on.
I feel like you should clarify that because that could also lead up to a different direction.
I diddle the neighbor's fucking mental stability. If anybody follows me knows that I have a continuing crazy neighbor saga story that it's like you couldn't make up this shit. But honestly, like yesterday I got the police called on me because I told her that I could not wait for her to move, basically.
Tonight on Stagger's Neighbor.
I know, pretty much. And honestly, she has no clue that basically she just gives me things to talk about on stream. So thank you. No, man, I've been playing a lot of PGA Tour 2K21. I wasn't gonna get it, and then I watched a bunch of people play it, and I'm like, God damn it. And I got it, and I'm actually loading up a round right now to play while we're doing this wonderful podcast. Been streaming. I just did a gig for the game Ancestors, the Humankind Odyssey. I streamed it to the Steam page live, so that was really cool. I had like 2,600 viewers, so
nice.
Had a good time with that. And I've just been doing the streaming. Did like a 6-hour stream of Paladins today. Had a lot of fun and just playing the Xbox, playing the PlayStation. Haven't really touched the Switch very much lately, but I'm trying. A new thing I'm trying to do is I picked up the beta for that Amazon game, The New World, and I'm really trying to get into playing keyboard and mouse stuff because I'm convinced I can teach myself how to get better at keyboard and mouse. So that's what I've been up to.
All right, man. Well, shout out to you, man. Once again,
a little bit of everything.
So that's
balance.
If you guys don't know Stag, or watch him stream, he plays a little everything, like he just said. All of that information is down in the description below as well. Appreciate you, bro. Every single week here, man. Neighbor or not. By the way, Facebook, you guys want to see some footage? Facebook got exclusive.
Oh yeah, man. She's been telling all the neighbors what happened, and I was like, wait a minute, the video footage disproves everything you just said.
So go check out Facebook, man. Crazy stuff there. But either way, appreciate you, man. Despite the neighbor being here every single week, man. Let's go ahead and throw this over to you, Centurion. Appreciate you every single week, man. What you been up to? I know the new video came out recently. What else you got cooking up?
Well, what I've got cooking up currently is I'm getting in touch with Stagger's neighbor and trying to get her into the YouTube chat right now. So that way,
really, I mean, her name is.
Oh. We ain't doing that. We're not going to do that.
This is like, I want to see some fireworks tonight in the chat. Anyway,
she'd like tell you all. She'd make you all angry. So don't even,
It's not working.
But anyways, what's going on, everybody? It's Saturday. Thank God it's Saturday. We're here to talk about games, Xbox, and everything in between, no matter what console it's on. And yeah, man, I've been actually dabbling in some backwards compatibility, playing Saints Row 2. And that's pretty much the only thing I've had time for to play this week was just to sit there and kind of play Saints Row 2 because I'm wanting to play Saints Row 3 remastered, but I guess the OCD in me wants to replay the game before that just to kind of say I covered it.
Okay. Well, nothing wrong with that. Saints Row is a phenomenal game. So go back, check out the series if you're a GTA.
It's definitely, it makes me laugh, dude, but dude, but oh my God, if they try to do something like that today, oh my God, man. Let's just say there would be some articles on how they are pushing the limits of like what is socially acceptable.
Yeah, it's a bit edgy for times at this particular point, but it's the franchise is always never taken itself seriously at all. That's the best part about Saints Row. So go check it out, guys. If you have not, man, let's go ahead and throw this over to you, Fuzz. Appreciate you here every week, bro. I know you've been throwing out videos, putting up content. So what you've been playing as well, besides Forza? We already know.
Well, I've kind of fallen into Flight Simulator. Right now, I'm just messing around with some of the mods as far as liveries for the planes and things like that, and some of the airports, and trying to, I guess you could say, cache some of the cities in my local area, so that way everything that I fly around is going to be high res without having to have that a little bit of a stuttering effect as far as when it comes to streaming it in. But other than that, a little bit of Battletoads, a little bit of Wasteland 3, getting my ass handed to me on that. But just a little bit of everything, but more so Flight Sim. And man, just trying to stay off Twitter because, it's ugly lately.
I like how you guys put that caveat on there of lately. It could never change.
It's not always that way, right? It's
Some days it's kumbaya, and other days it's like, man, let's just burn this whole world to ash. I don't know, just ridiculous.
It's pretty crazy. We'll dive into that a little bit once again, chat. We're gonna have a lot of fun with this. It's what we're here for, talking about video games, man. Just keeping it lighthearted. It's been crazy, so we're gonna keep it light. But before we continue, I do want to give a little tribute, a quick moment of silence. As everybody here, I'm sure, is aware, Chadwick Boseman passed away last night. So, quick moment of silence. Just he was a big.
Who?
Come on, you're not doing that.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were like a streamer or something. I didn't.
No.
Sorry,
Absolutely.
Yeah. I just didn't hear you because it broke up.
Oh, you're good. You're fine. But yeah, Black Panther, aka Chadwick Boseman. I would say vice versa, aka. But just a quick moment of silence, and then we'll get right into the topics. All right. So yeah, shout out to him, his family, prayers and thoughts to everybody in that situation. But let's go ahead and dive right into the topics, man. Appreciate you guys already diving in, showing support. So we're gonna get to this poll of the week, man. Poll of the week this week, man. We have a lot of fun with that. Every single week I put it up on Twitter on Monday. So follow me there if you want to find out what it is and vote. So that way you get in early. So let's go ahead and just dive right into what that is going to be this week. So let me get it loaded up here. I do apologize. It is.
Oh my God, it's in the chat.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, that's great too. But it's pinned as well. So poll of the week this week. So it is, since we should be due to get pricing from Xbox or Sony at some point. Thank God I put at some point because we haven't got it yet. What scenario would be more surprising if it happened and why? So a couple options. We have Series X being 600, PS5 being 500, Series X being 500, PS5 being 600, and then both being 600. So 3 options this week. The second option actually won. So Series X being 500, PS5 being 58% of the votes. Then the last two, the other two got split the vote. So 21% each, Series X being 600, PS5 being 500, and both 600. So pretty split vote. I know we've talked about this for a long time now about pricing and where these things are going to fall at, especially since we've gotten like the tech and we know more about the consoles now. So where you at on this, Stag? I mean, I know real quick here, we've talked about it a couple times, but where you at on those 3 options?
On those 3 options? Shit, I was supposed to vote. Damn it.
That's all good, bro. Don't worry.
I just put a comment in. I didn't vote. Honestly, like, man, which would be more surprising? I don't feel like any of them would be surprising. They could, any of those could easily fall in there. I would be surprised if the Series X is 600, and I don't think the PS5 wants to hit 600. So, but I would be surprised if either of them hit 600, to be perfectly honest with you. But I mean, I guess the second option, because everything we've heard from Microsoft is we're not going to be out of range on price. You know what I mean? So I don't think they would hit that 600 price point, considering their whole model right now seems to be subscription-based stuff. So I feel like they're trying to maybe take a hit on hardware and then sell more subs, I guess. I don't know. But I think I said in the comments 500 for both. For the Series X and the PS5, both with the discs, not the S and not the discless. So I don't have really any opinions on those. I think those two are going to be some interesting pricing as well. But yeah. I mean, I guess if I would have voted, it would have been B that won the thing. Just because I just don't see PS5 being $600. Like, I don't see Series X being 600 either. I mean, Sony proved years ago that that's just not a good price point. I mean, I also believe that there's nothing wrong with consoles getting to be more, and I don't see any problem with games becoming more money. I mean, but I also think that if games are going to be more money, you can stop microtransactioning us to death. So,
give and take there is what you're saying.
yeah, I mean, if you're going to charge more for a game, I mean, can you release it complete and then stop charging us for, all these little things? So, I mean, granted, with the digital age, I mean, you can always, a game's never really going to be complete, almost. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I would have gone with B. And like I said, I think both consoles are probably going to come in at the $500 mark. Maybe one will try and be $20 to $50 less, but we'll see. I mean, we've heard that the PS5 cost them like $470 to build. So I mean, they really, it's going to be hard to take a big cut. So
Yeah.
I mean, they're gonna sell a lot of consoles. Oh wait, they're only gonna sell so many consoles because it's invite only for pre-orders. So yeah, so that'll be interesting to see how that works out. So yeah, that's the where I'm at.
All right. No, that's fair. So the thing about the pricing, which is crazy to me, is that we've all kind of got it in our heads that anything more than 500 is too much. But realistically, nobody's saying like we're getting new tech, new hardware. Like there's no reason why. I mean, 600 is completely feasible. Nobody. Like I said, I always make the analogy, and it may not be a perfect analogy, but nobody thought we'd be paying $1,200-$1,300 for cell phones either. I know that technology moves a lot faster than consoles. We get consoles every 6 to 10 years. Cell phones every year. So I understand that, but ultimately tech does get more expensive and people end up being okay with that. So I don't know. We'll see where this at. I think a lot of the two lower end models are going to dictate a lot as well. But we'll see where it's at. So let's go ahead and throw this over to you, Centurion. We've talked about this before, but where out of those three options, where you at, man?
Oh man. People don't like where I'm at half the time because, I would say out of the three options that were in front of me, the one that won would honestly be the one that completely would shock me is if the PS5 was 600, that would blow my mind for starters. And then I think it'd be awesome if the Series X undercut the PlayStation 5 no matter what. I know Microsoft is a way better position to pull that off.
Anyway, finish your thought. Finish your thought before you. So I didn't mean to sidetrack. Go ahead and finish your thought.
Well, what would make you say they're not?
No, I'm not. Once again, just playing devil's advocate. That's all.
Well, for me, I got this with somebody else. Microsoft, the company as a whole, is only dependent on Xbox for about 5% of its revenue, 5-7%. So they're not as invested into the Xbox brand as Sony, where I've heard the actual PlayStation brand makes up about somewhere around 40% of the actual company. So almost half of Sony is dependent on the PlayStation. And so I just feel like Microsoft is in a much better position to absorb that loss when it comes to selling the consoles at cost, or if not for a little bit of a loss, where PlayStation has obviously, things have come out in the past that they're not exactly in that same position to be able to pull that off, which is why I feel that these two companies have just met the stalemate on releasing the price. I'm completely shocked. I had to put out requests to people saying, hey, if by some chance the pre-order goes up on the Xbox at Gamescom, can you please hit me up so I can get one? Because that's where the Xbox One X was pretty much pre-order was dropped, was right there. Larry Erb came out, white gloved an Xbox One X and said, go pre-order it now. Yeah. I am shocked we don't have a price. I'm one of those that braced for the ultimate thing of these consoles being $600 each, because there's still a lot of things that affect the cost of a console, and it goes way beyond the technology that's inside them, and the technology inside them alone constitutes a $600 price tag.
That's fair. I mean, when you look at what these should be capable of and what we've talked about, both consoles, 4K, all these other different things, you're right. I mean, that's not unrealistic to say $600 is where they could land at. I just obviously in our heads, 500 is the ceiling for us because it's been that way forever. I mean, 500 is kind of safe, even though this generation it didn't start out that way. because Sony was able to undercut Xbox. But
I always remember back during the PS3 era, during when PS3 came out, they wanted $599 for it. And the funny part is I bought a PS4 at $399 purely because it was the same cost as a Sony Blu-ray player, and I wanted to watch my stuff in Blu-ray on 1080p because that was the big buzz back then. Those things cost just as much as a PlayStation 3, but with a PlayStation 3 you could play games with it. So that's why I'm just like, wait a minute, why? Like back in the day they had literally Blu-ray players that cost $400. So I'm sorry, I'm a technology geek. I love learning about technology, and to me a $600 price tag does not seem out of the realm of ordinary.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I'm settled in at too. Because I mean, because everything is so abnormal this year, with the economy being the way it is, with production not being more, everybody's working from home. That has a factor in that as well.
Have you seen what some of these consoles are selling on eBay? Because there's not enough consoles to go around. Yeah. There's people selling these the all digital SADAs for like $400.
Yeah, it's crazy. It gets crazy.
So I'm just like, so if somebody's out there eBaying a SADA for freaking $400, you don't think someone's going to slap a $600 price tag on them?
Smooth operator.
I know it's a smooth, but what was it? Shockley, the guy we hang out with on TXR, really cool guy, really into retro gaming. He keeps up with the pricing of like these games, and he's slowly moving his whole library over to digital, and he's actually selling the physical copies of some of these games. And he's like, dude, with like 5 or 6 games or something like that, he made like over $1,000.
I believe it. In today's economy, it just, you never know how much this stuff is going to be affected. So it's very interesting. We'll see. I mean, we're ass into August, still no pricing yet. So we'll definitely see how probably the next 30 days winds down.
Maybe that's the whole freaking point of making us wait this long, because at this point we're like, just tell us $600 so we can put the pre-order in, please.
I think some people will probably feel that way. Some people are just like, okay, just give me anything. Like I'm not saying the PS5 or the Series X are going to be $600. I'm just going to be smart and save up enough money just in case, so that way I'm not bumming when they are.
If they're not $600, you got $200 for games.
I know. I'm like, who bitches like, oh, I saved up $600 and it was $500. Son of a bitch. It's like, really?
Oh my god, I got $100 saved left over.
Hey, cool. You can cover tax now.
Right.
Let's go ahead and throw this over to you, Fuzz. Just get your opinion on this.
You have to give up your meth for the week.
Just to wrap up this opening topic, but Fuzz, we've gone over this, man, so many times.
Mm-hmm.
We're into August. We talked about it beginning of August. Probably end of July. Okay, we're gonna get it this month. So where you at on some of those options that I posted?
Well, I voted with the Xbox Series X being $500 and the PlayStation 5 being $600. For me, that would be more of a surprise, because when the specs, or when these consoles were initially announced and the specs were talked about, I automatically assumed that the Xbox Series X was going to be around the $600 price point, just because of the tech inside kind of thing. And there would be at least $100 window between, the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, or at least that's what I thought initially.
Yeah, but to be fair, Xbox can't be $100 more.
No, I looking at it now, I know that that's not the path that they're going to take.
I just mean just for competition's sake, and if they want to have any market share.
Yeah.
other than the install base that's already going to buy.
Exactly.
Right, let's point out the obvious. Yes, Microsoft is waiting for PlayStation to show their cards. Pretty much.
Yeah, I mean they can kind of sit back and do that because they know their current base is going to more than likely transition right over to the Xbox Series X. But I think it would be more of a surprise, at least from my standpoint, if the X comes in significantly lower than the PS5. Like that $100 window between like $500 for the X and the $600 for the PS5. I think that would be more shocking. But I've posted it or pinned it as my line in the sand. I think the digital edition PS5 is going to be $400. The PS5 with the disc is going to be somewhere between $450 and $500. I think the Xbox Series X itself is going to be either $500 or maybe up to the $550 mark. But I think honestly they're looking to either match or slightly undercut whatever the discs version of the PS5 is.
Mhm.
And if that Xbox Series S is kind of what they've been saying, and it's a digital edition as well, I think they go for the jugular and try to go at 300, maybe less, but I think they have enough room that they could get away with doing 300 and still pay. Well, they don't really have to worry about paying the bills, but not take too much of a loss or not take a loss at all on that system. But pricing now, given what the economy is, given what materials are in there and cost and all that, I think they want to keep it in the $500 window more so than 600. Although,
just to add to your point,
Yeah.
sorry to cut you off, but Sean just made a great point. He says Sony wants to direct sell so they can afford to sell
Yeah.
at 500. Maybe that's why.
Selling the console to a retailer takes a bite out of profits.
Yeah,
yes,
that makes sense. So good addition there. I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to throw that in there on top of what you were already saying.
no, it's definitely a good point because less hands transfer or less hands in the middle of it, the more money that they get to keep at the end of the day.
Well,
but that digital edition is going to be their breadwinner, I think, as far as for the customer base. They'll be pretty much locked into their ecosystem. They'll make the margins back all on the digital games that can't be sold because other than Microsoft, Sony still doesn't have a return policy on digital. So,
well, and to top that off with what Shansu said, like they already said before that they were having production issues, supplies would be limited. That email confirms the fact that they're going to have a very limited run. Now, is that 1 million consoles? Is that 2 million consoles? Is that 10 million? We don't know. But the fact that China's been up and running for months now and they're still going to have a limited amount of consoles is slightly concerning. I mean, now is Xbox going to have a limited amount of consoles? Because they have not said anything about that. So,
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, but they've been in production a little bit longer too. So,
and they bought up all the production and materials needed for production, and they had so much
they weren't
money
having a hard
invested-
time getting stuff because they bought and they invested into the parts that they're in. That's why another reason I think Xbox is in a slightly better position because they helped develop their chip with AMD.
Yeah,
They paid money to research and develop it. Sony didn't do that with this. So, I mean,
well, on the production side of things, like at least from automotive, like the stuff that we have manufactured over there and the stuff coming over, before we could order like a container of like, let's say a bumper, and it could be, 6 containers that go on the ship. But now because people are ordering everything from toilet paper to, TVs, they have to kind of situate what they're bringing in at a given time, because even though the production is still up and running, even though it's like maybe 90% of what it was, it becomes like a battle on, okay, well, this container, instead of it being full of bumpers, it's got to be some wheels, some bumpers, and maybe some soft tops. And at that point, what used to be able to come in one shipment now is going to take 3 shipments to be able to get it in. But
Can I hop in on that?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So without giving into what I do, so while everybody's out here playing console wars, I work my ass off every day, making the company I work for over like $250,000 by myself. So right now, my manufacturers, at least the ones here domestically, we're not going to count internationally, they have had a 40 to 50% increase for the products that they produce.
Mm-hmm.
And due to social distancing restrictions here in the United States, at least here in Arizona, they're only allowed to have about 25 to 30% of their workforce on the floor producing stuff because people have to be kept 6 feet apart. Social distancing is there for a reason. And I can only imagine what it's like over there in Asia because they're actually a lot more stricter. When this whole thing went down, Italy made it to where people were only allowed to leave their homes once every 2 weeks. So there's no telling exactly what kind of restrictions they have in those factories that are actually prohibiting production just because they don't have the ability to have the manpower on the floor to produce the units needed.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, that was once again, great way to wrap up the topic. I mean, ultimately, this is getting down. This is unprecedented. We've never had to deal with having to worry about pricing this late in the year and figuring out what's going on. So we will definitely find out very, very soon where these companies land at this, as far as these prices go. So let's go ahead and move on to the next topic. So the next topic, we're going to be talking a little bit of Halo. We talked about this a little last week. some more news has came out since then. I know people are kind of down in the dump. Well, some people are down in the dumps about Halo. But I kind of posed the question: should it be next gen only because it is coming out a little bit later into the actual cycle or the launch window? So should it just be for the Series X or not? I mean, this has been in the debate since the footage came out. Some people weren't happy with it. Some people were okay with it. But ultimately, we'll start with you, Stag. I know you're just ready for the game to come out. I don't think you care when it comes out. But, you know, do you think it would benefit from just them focusing on saying, hey, we're going to put this on the X and not really worry about the cross-gen?
I mean, if it would have launched, you know, in the window they said it was going to, then yeah, it would have made sense to cross. But coming out a year late, I mean, we don't even know when it's coming out, but more than likely it's coming out in a year, you know.
Yeah.
Year plus. I would love to see it only on the Series X, to be honest with you. I mean, it's like, yeah, I mean, but if they throw it in Game Pass, then I mean, it can, which is going to be thrown in Game Pass because it's a Microsoft Studios game. It's going to be in, like I said, it's going to be in Game Pass. So if you're on your Xbox One X, or you're going to be able to play it there, right? I mean, in theory. I don't know, but with their ecosystem, it's going to be interesting to see how games go exclusive to the Series X going forward with the, you know, until everybody migrates over. And I mean, I still have friends that play on the 360 and don't have an Xbox One, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, but I would, at this point, I would love to see it like programmed, coded, what the fuck ever, exclusively for the X, and like be that game that optimizes that system.
Yeah, yeah. So I think what you're, so it sounds to me like at this point, Halo you might as well make it the best it could possibly be at this point. I think I don't because when it's coming out, like you said, it's gonna be later in the launch window. It's not gonna be like that cross-gen title that we were looking at as the cross-gen title to get people, you know, to jump on board with the new system. It's not gonna be that entry point anymore. I think it would benefit from them just saying, hey, let's focus all our time and attention on making this the best possible.
I think it would have a good possibility of helping in a year sell more systems.
Exactly. So, and I don't think people.
I mean, it was going to sell systems this year, and now it's not going to sell. I mean, because like, look, I said it earlier in chat. Like, neither console now officially hasn't given me a reason. Like, I'm not convinced either console needs my money day one.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing on the PlayStation 5 side that really drives me as a gamer to go get that day one. And now with no Halo Infinite, I mean, other than like no load times that, you know, for either system, that's
Can I ask a question?
No.
Sure.
As
you want to ask 2 questions?
Can I ask 3 now?
Go
ahead.
Well, for me, it, like, as a gamer, Ratchet and Clank does not interest you. I don't care about platform. I don't even want to open that can of worms. We're just talking about the game.
I have it on PS4. I haven't played it yet.
I have that. I will say that I've played a little bit of it. I mean, it's a good, clean game, but me and my wife are actually intrigued on just what they've done to the franchise. I think it's really cool that they're actually wanting to use it as pretty much a launching stepping stone for their platform. And I really
think.
Yeah, they're gonna. Well, they said they're gonna get it out during the launch window. Let's see if that actually happens.
Is like a launch window title. Isn't that a cartoony game?
You know what? But so is Fortnite, and both attract a lot of people.
I'm just saying, like,
Insomniac's putting in that work.
I know.
Weird,
I know. For some reason, I enjoy Grounded
about a cartoony game in a launch window.
I can't. You know, I've been playing Grounded. I can play so many cartoony games.
Is Bug Snacks coming out at the same time?
I will be truthful. I don't know, because that game didn't interest me. I do. I droned out on that one.
I'm being extra sarcastic. So.
Oh, I know. The funny part is the game did not interest me so much the minute it came on. I literally droned out, got on my phone, did not pay attention to what game was advertised, and I went for like a day or two to everybody making bug snack jokes until somebody had to show me a photo of like which game they were talking about, and I was like, "Oh, that thing!" Yeah, I totally like blanked out on that one.
Okay.
Yeah, I know that went nowhere.
No, take over. You're good. No, I just wanted to let Stag finish. If you were done, Stag, with your thoughts as far as Halo.
Oh man, That's Centurion.
Okay,
No.
so go ahead, Centurion, about just Halo Infinite. Being later on in the launch window, it's just
I'm done.
sense for it to be.
Well, that's where, okay, so how about maybe I do want to ask Stag or even Fuzzy, because Fuzzy, I know, builds his own PCs. Like, what could Halo Infinite do that would make it next gen? Because here, the one big thing is the game was built on that x86 architecture, which makes it to where it is technically scalable. The only thing they could really have going for them is the velocity architecture stuff that happens on the Series X. But what could they do that would make it absolutely next gen? Because it was originally created with the Xbox One in mind.
That's an individual thing, because I think a lot of people, when they say next gen, they like that shiny new coat of paint. Because even, you're right. I mean, if we really look at Ratchet and Clank, it's a cartoony game. It's always looked cartoony. It's never been like this super photorealistic God of War, Last of Us kind of game. But I think the particles, things like that, people seeing those things, some of the effects, people are kind of, it's a shiny paint. It's like, oh, I haven't seen anything like that. So I don't know. I mean, is there a feature? It's already doing.
I just got confused on the fact that what was wrong with the color palette in the way it looked in, Halo 4 and Halo 5 and some of the stuff they added on for the Halo 2 anniversary. I was just really confused on, like, why did we want to take the color palette a step back? I understand that was like during the Bungie days, but why did you not just use the color palette, but still didn't kind of use the resolution and some of the looks that you created in Halo 4? You guys kind of wanted to put your own shine on the game. I never had anything wrong with the way the game looked. That's why I'm totally shocked on just how the whole world peeled apart literally an alpha demo. But then when I find out, dude, it's actually sad when you find out that that was like one of the first times 343 ever put anything together for us, because everything else was third party.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, and then that begs another question about the handling of the franchise with the direction of the franchise. We're not going to dive into that, but
no, we're not going to dive into that. No, I don't think it should be next gen, because sadly the rabbit's already out of the hat. But you can't sit there and be like, hey, we're going to put Halo in Game Pass and make it backwards and forwards compatible, cross-gen this, cross-gen that. Like, I'm sorry, it is what it is. But if what we've heard is true about the Xbox One S version, it's regretful. But if you go in, it's even in my video, small shameless plug, that even on a base Xbox One, not an Xbox One S, Halo 5 actually was supposed to run at 1080p, but there was times it actually dipped down to like 810, according to Digital Foundry. So it is not uncommon for a game to run like crap on a less optimized console. And so if you're playing Halo Infinite on an OG Xbox One or an Xbox One S, I'm sorry, but the secret's out. You're not playing the premium experience.
So with saying that, man, that's it's a lot going on, man. And I thought that I still have a lot of faith in them, and I still have a lot of faith in the game because it's Halo. I'm still going to be excited to play them. I just wish the package was a little bit put together. Like everything was a little bit more buttoned up, but it is what it is. We're going to move forward from that. But let's go ahead and get your opinion, Fuzz, on just, you think it should be just, they should focus on next gen only with Halo Infinite? I mean, he's right. The cat's out the bag. You've already said it's going to be cross-gen. I don't know if that's even something that's feasible, even though it's going to be a lot later in the launch window than it was originally supposed to be. So where you at on that?
Well, the engine and everything was designed based on the Xbox One generation. They didn't really have specs nailed down by the time they created this whole new engine. When the game was first in development, they still didn't have all the specs, locked down for the next generation either. So I feel that this game should at least continue as it was started. I mean, we're not talking about going back to the drawing board. If it was going back to the drawing board, oh, of course, put in more AI, make smarter AI, have it where it's a bigger universe, more world travel, things like that. If you're going to make it next gen, have the mindset as far as like all the particle effects, the ambient inclusion, the ray tracing and all that, if it's going to be strictly next gen. But I think with them mentioning that this was going to be playable, keep it playable on this current gen. And I always kind of laugh at it, and it's just one of those snide comments, but it's like no console left behind. They already said that before. You got to stick with the plan. Now, if you want to make additional content, like if you're going to continue to support the game and that additional content is only playable on the Xbox Series X, I don't think too many people are going to be too upset. I mean, yeah, you're going to hear some vocal minority of those that are going to be like, hey, I can't, upgrade to the Xbox Series X. Why can't I play this new add-on? Well, your Jaguar Core can't handle 200 AI and 400 players at one time type of thing, and I think people will understand that. But it's best to just keep it for the current gen, upscale it or up higher res, all the bells and whistles as far as like the ray tracing and things like that for the Xbox Series X. Scale it down as much as you can so it's still playable and it doesn't look like an 8-bit game for the current gen. But I think as long as it's on par with what the way 4 and 5 looked, I think people will be fine on the current gen, and that's all they really need to worry about. I think the bigger thing is they need to, and they have that the guy returning back to the Halo series and stuff, but they just need, I guess, somebody that's barking orders that's going to get this done while they're, spread out and working from home and whatnot, or just come up with a better system. Hopefully, because if this is hopefully it's just more so with this studio, because if the other studios are running into similar issues with, working remotely, then either Matt Booty needs to step up or something, or he needs
I would already be going around 343 Studios with a questionnaire. Question 1: did Don Matrix hire you? Yes or no? And like anybody who instantly answered that question yes, I'd be like, all right, you're going to the conference room, we're gonna have a discussion. It'd be like I feel like there is a rat here somewhere. I mean, somebody somehow is kind of continuing the problems we've been having since Don Matrix. Which one of you is it?
I don't want to say that because I'm not putting that on Xbox, because these are the climate that these developers and what Xbox, Sony, Nintendo are dealing right now is completely different than 2000 and whatever year.
No, but I'm just saying, like, technically 343 has been around since those times.
Yeah, no, you're right.
And I just think it's funny. Anything that was around during that time is just, it's basically like Fuzz says, somebody needs to come in there and kind of start checking things out and getting things done. Yeah. And I really do think they kind of need like an outsider look, just like, yeah.
All right, so let's finish up, man. I don't want to cut you off there.
No, I mean, that's pretty much it. They continue with the original plan. Continue it with it being on current gen and next gen. The whole next gen thing, worry about that on Halo, I guess you would say 6.5 or 7 or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, that's it.
Okay. No, that's fair. Once again, this is an extremely sensitive topic, man. People are all over the place with Halo. I mean, I think some of us got a monkey wrench thrown in. The expectations, if whether you're on one side of the fence or the other, ultimately this game is, going to come out at some point. Whether or not you enjoy the game, hopefully everybody's on the same page at that point in time and they make some improvements. So let's go ahead and move forward here. We're talking a little bit of Call of Duty now. This hot fucking mess called Activision decided that they were gonna. I don't even know how to explain this. Like I have no idea how to explain what's going on. So Call of Duty Cold War, obviously we get a new Call of Duty every single year. This time, I believe, is it who the hell is making a game this time? I done lost track of who the developer is this time around. But either way, they have some cross-gen issues as far as purchasing the game versus PS4, PS5, and Xbox One X versus Xbox Series X, how it's going to translate. Now, you can read the article. Matter of fact, if somebody wants to, or I can even post the article in the chat, the link. If you guys want to check the article out, it's confusing as hell. Now, Fuzz, Stag, and Centurion, have you guys looked at the article at all? have you guys heard about what they're doing with Cold War?
Oh yeah.
I didn't need to read the article, man. Let's just say words on the streets were very loud, and I heard them very well.
So I mean, I guess we'll start with you, Fuzz, because you seem to be more well versed on it. That may be able to help Stag, even though he might be reading it right now. But it's confusing. We'll start
You
with
think I'm gonna go read that bullshit? Come on now.
Well, I was already going a hard pass for
this
Black Ops. I mean, I've always kind of skipped Black Ops. Like I think I bought Black Ops 3 for the boys just because they wanted it mainly for like the zombie, aspect of it. But outside of that, I'm more about Modern Warfare or the main titles. The Black Ops stuff can go in the bushes or whatever you want to call it. But all right, so digital copies make sense. Although I don't like the fact that they're doing the price hike, but it is what it is. You buy the regular for the PS4 or the Xbox One. You pay a little bit more later on to get the digital version for the next gen consoles. You buy the physical copy. This is, I think, where it starts to get a little out of sorts. PS4, you buy the physical copy. You can pay an upgrade for the PS5 with that. If I'm not mistaken, if you buy the Xbox One version, you cannot pay the additional amount to upgrade it to the Xbox Series X. If it's an Xbox One copy, which I'm kind of wondering because I've seen boxes where it has both of them on it. So I don't know, is there technically really going to be an Xbox One copy out there that you can find? But regardless, you can't do the extra money to upgrade it. But by the way, you have to keep a disc in your console just like you would for like with Xbox back compat for 360 games. No big deal, but the whole excluding Xbox right there was kind of weird. Now we'll go to the next generation console ones where if you get the digital, they're only offering a bundle. So if you get the PS5 disc the PS5 digital edition, it's only as a bundled thing where it comes with the.
But it's more, right?
Wait, no, because no. The digital ones are the cross generation thing, and then if you buy the PS5 physical disc, you can absolutely not get the PS4 version, which I guess if you already have a PS5, why would you need the PS4 version? But if you buy the physical of the Xbox One or Xbox Series X, you get the Xbox One edition with it, but you're paying $10 more. And the same thing with the PS5, you're paying $10 more than you would if you were buying the PS4. But it's
confusing. So
I am so glad I didn't read this article. I am sorry. I'm like, what? Oh my God.
Well, I think we should really focus on Activision and them once again going against the grain, them trying to one up EA in any possible way, and make this game more complicated than it has to be. And that transition from one generation to the next, and it's a disparity between the two consoles. It's confusing.
At least what made it to me. Forgive me if I didn't get as detailed as Fuzzy. Oh my God, he was going into detail. I didn't know it was like that bad where you had to like go meet somebody down at a Texaco station with a magical word, and you get an upgraded copy.
Holy shit.
Dude, I haven't seen a Texaco in a while, man. That's why I still make the joke. I haven't seen Texacos in a while. That's for sure. That shows my age. Anyways, at least what I heard is if you buy the base versions of these games, I guess you're kind of not getting in on next gen. I did not know that there was a way you could upgrade on PlayStation over Xbox. I'll have to definitely check that out. But I guess if you bought like the ultimate versions of the games that were like $100 or more, that's the versions that they were included with, where you got the upgrades and stuff like that. And honestly, it
pain consumer corner, man.
And that's where I can't really just say Activision is not acting alone. We got 505 and Remedy doing this with oh my God, what the hell is it? Control. Who is in control of 2K?
Take-Two.
Take-Two. Yeah.
So we got Take-Two with 2K, like same thing with them. If you go out and get the base version of the new NBA game that's coming out, you're not going to get that next gen upgrade. You have to buy the ultimate version to get that, where they said, if you get the game within like the first year of launch, you get the upgrade for free. By the way, the fine print says you have to buy the ultimate version. So this is kind of something like, not to sound cheesy, this is like setting a precedent in gaming that we really should not support. Honestly, we should all speak with our wallets, and like I understand.
I'm so tired of hearing that, dude. Like we said, we were going to speak with our wallets when it came to fucking
Loot boxes.
DLC, loot boxes, microtransactions, and look at
you
us.
know what?
Not
Look at
all
us
of us,
now.
but look at us now. Like, so just shush. Just
Oh, I
we're gonna
know.
speak with their
But
wallets
what else
because
can
we're
we say?
playing video games and we're gonna buy the shit because we're stupid.
Well, actually, I'm not
No
going to
matter
buy
what
it because
platform. Just saying.
actually the NBA game does not.
Well, yeah, I mean that doesn't interest
me
me at all either. But I'm
Call
just
of
saying,
Duty,
like,
every Call of Duty game I have bought in the past few years has cost no more than like $40.
I see what you're saying.
it's just like if both consoles are $600 we're gonna eat it up because what choice do we have? We can just sit here and play on our old systems until they're no longer making games for them, and then we have to buy the $600 consoles.
Right.
But they should be 400 by then, or
maybe not. Why would they
Sure.
move the price point if they know we all have to move if there's no games being made for the PS4 or the Xbox One X?
True.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying. I mean, they don't make games for the 360 anymore.
Yeah.
It definitely is going to be an interesting situation of watching what's going to happen with these developers that play the game of no upgrades for free versus paid for upgrades. I'm curious on how it's going to work out because we all see how the microtransaction thing worked, you know, kind of got a couple people slapped on the hand for trying to create gambling.
Well, I mean, that's depending on how they implement it, I think is what matters with people because we don't know what we want until we get it. So sometimes they're able to kind of wean us on these things and then it kind of just becomes normal. So I 100% agree with Stag. Like, we just do this shit. Like, we talk and we say all of this, talk with your wallets and all this stuff. But ultimately, we end up getting or succumbing to whatever the market dictates. If they decide they want to make changes, you know, even though it may be incrementally, we end up getting used to those incremental changes until they're normal. So I understand what Stag is talking about, but ultimately, you know, speak with your wallets. That's an individual thing. So, Stag, I don't know if you wanted to get in on the Call of Duty stuff. It's a bit confusing. I don't know if you had anything to say about COD at all.
Hard pass.
Dang.
T-Pain today. Okay.
Hey, I just want to say that I speak with my wallet. I buy the hell out of certain microtransactions.
I'm just saying, like, yeah, you know what I'm saying, though.
Yeah.
Everybody's been sitting here like, I'm not gonna do that. It's like all these people that are like, yeah, that's my mixer board.
Like, how about this? So
they were all like, I'm not going digital. If it goes all digital, I'm gonna quit gaming. The fuck you are.
Okay. Stuff like that. It's like, you know, when you're it's like trying to stop innovation. Okay, good luck on that. Yeah. But this isn't really innovation. This is more company tactics. And you can see how, you know, people have a total different perspective when it comes to company tactics over at Microsoft. They're considered at least not anti-consumer, but over at Activision, you know, anti-consumer is what they do. So definitely that's where, yeah, I'm just saying I do speak with my wallet. And as a result, I actually put little to no money in into their wallets. I don't buy games day and date when they come out. And generally very few of their games even interest me.
Well, another thing, like on top of the digital thing, PC's doing just fine. And it's pretty much an all digital model now.
Oh yeah.
That was the argument at the time that people were saying if it goes all digital, that I'm not going to play any. But well, PC's already pretty much.
I mean, when I had my PC built, I did not put a disk drive in it.
Yeah,
exactly. I think most people don't. You know,
but now I'm like, damn it, I can't watch my Blu-rays up here.
Well, no. Here's the thing that's about the whole digital deal. We already know that PlayStation is seeing that's the inevitable. Well, I won't say the inevitable, but they're already offering a digital edition console. So that should tell anybody that's only going to buy physical, the time or the writing is on the wall. My prediction is by 2022, the holiday of 2022, that'll be the last you'll be able to buy a newly released physical game.
Oh, I think you'll still be able to get physical copies. They'll just be limited runs. There'll be more of collector's items.
Yeah, and you'll pay a lot. That's when the physical copies will be more expensive than digital by a good bit.
Well, even you got to include just today's. I think
it'll be more a few years later than what you're projecting, but
I think what the world is going through right now as well, I've sped that process up quite a bit because people aren't doing, you know, having normal interactions, and digital's become such a big deal because people having to stay at home. I think it sped that whole process up like way faster than it probably normally would have evolved. So I think that you guys are right. That's right around the corner before we become all digital. So let's go ahead and throw this over, not throw this over. Sorry, let's go ahead and roll on to the next topic. The last topic, actually, this was about Gamescom. Gamescom happened. It came and went. I'm not capping. I did not watch Gamescom, but I did go back. I did watch.
This is going to be a short topic then.
Well, no, I went back and watched the trailers of the games that were shown just to see if I was interested in anything that they shown, or just in case I missed something cool. It was so. Just to give my opinion here, I miss E3, man. I really, I do. I miss E3. Watching Gamescom. I'm not. You guys know I'm not the biggest Jeff Keighley guy. He hosted the event essentially. I don't know that, and they did show a couple things. Obviously, Ratchet and Clank looked good. That showed well. As I said, it showed well at the PlayStation event. They had a couple other games, Watch Dogs, obviously Call of Duty. Medal of Honor. I got excited for Medal of Honor, then I saw VR.
Man, they haven't had there's a Medal of Honor game? It's been a long time, dude.
Yeah, Respawn. I saw Medal of Honor Respawn. I said, holy shit, we're finally getting a good Medal of Honor. And I saw VR. I was like, oh no, we're not doing it. So sorry about that. I know, Chris, you're a big VR guy. Shout out to you. Hopefully you get it and play it. But I mean, the games look decent. Doom Eternal looked great. I don't know. It wasn't really anything that made me jump up. So I just want to get you guys' opinions. Who watched it? You guys can just we'll rapid fire this thing. Whoever wants to go next.
I guess I'll start off. I watched it through. Well, shout out to Iron Lords podcast. I watched it through their live stream deal. And the main reason why I watched it through theirs, they made it worthwhile. They made it funny as hell. I mean, there were just times where that show just dragged on. Like I would say about the biggest bright spots there were the fact that they had what do you call them? They had Ratchet and Clank, which they showed a little bit more of the same trailer from their state of play thing, but you got to see a little bit more of it, more into detail of the gameplay itself. And then they cut it short on what was it, Godfall? It's like, yeah, we don't need to see that anymore. It's
the new Destiny DLC.
And then they went into more detail on like Destiny as far as like the different, I guess you could say, ultimates as far as for PvP and things like that. But overall, I mean, there were some other titles that we've seen and heard about from last year's E3. Perfect example, 12 minutes. I don't think they still haven't showed a date on it. So it's like, I mean, it's great that it's still in, out there and they're showing it, but just want to see a date of when I can download this.
Gimme.
Yeah,
gimme.
Exactly.
Give me 12 minutes. That's all I care about.
Yeah. But outside of that, I mean, Gamescom for me has always been kind of like the second fiddle. It's more like what Centurion was mentioning earlier. It would have been perfect if they had announced like, oh, pre-order your Xbox Series X or your PS5. Instead, we get the announcement, oh, you can be emailed to be invited.
I say it the same way I said it. Larry Herb walks out on stage, white glove and all, poking at the Series X. No, I'm playing.
But outside of that, we didn't get pre-orders other than the email announcement thing for PS5, and it's a forgettable show. I mean,
it's just some janky shit.
But that's about it. I was hoping to see a bit more of some of the third party stuff, more action or more gameplay of that stuff.
No Elden Ring, still none.
Yeah. I think that's going to be a 2 years down the road thing. I think that we're going to have to wait until that's going to be like a next generation exclusive. It's not going to be cross-gen at all. So
involved with that? The Game of Thrones guy, correct? George R.R. Martin is involved with that game.
Mm-hmm.
So, it may take a while. Never mind. He's not in any rush. Yeah, go ahead.
No, but that was basically it. I mean, I don't know. I'm still kind of. I'm not picking up. What was that? Project Cars 3. Was there anything else that they showed racing wise? I don't think so. But that, it was more of an underwhelming show. If I didn't have any particular hopes or hype about the show to begin with, other than maybe we'll hear an announcement for a pre-order. But that watching the live stream with the Iron Lords, that made the show. They were hilarious.
I think that's what I should have done.
I know it. I mean, sometimes with those, matter of fact, I can't remember this last event. that games event we had prior to this one, I watched with the ILP as well. So shout out to COD, King David, Addict, everybody over there at ILP. Fucking hilarious. One of my favorite shows to watch. So anybody else, Centurion? I don't know if you got a chance to go back and look at anything. I think you mentioned you just went back and
Well,
looked
yeah, I've been keeping up with it in my own way. I'm sorry, but like I told you, after working as much as I have been lately, the last thing I want to do is come home and watch Jeff Keighley drone on. Anyways, yeah, I mean, like sometimes you want to watch, other times it's like nails on a chalkboard, and this week it would have been nails on a chalkboard. But I did see some games I'm definitely interested in. We mentioned one, the Ratchet and Clank game. I definitely want to check it out. It looks like a good game that I would enjoy. Lord of the Rings Gollum, though.
Yeah, I saw that too. I don't know.
I was interested in it until I saw the trailer and realized now I'm like, I don't know where this is going.
Yeah.
Definitely though, I didn't see anything that really totally made me jump out of my seat. That's for sure. I think that's how you said it, Blam, was something that just totally like,
I didn't.
I'm excited for the Doom expansion. I mean, there's definitely something to take away for everybody, but there's definitely not that, oh my God, I gotta have it moment. I think that's what Stag's looking for on either one of these consoles.
Well, I mean, so
honestly, like I said in chat, I think both of these consoles are a year too early. So I don't think there's any real need for either of them to launch this November. Or I mean, like Brett just said in chat, we haven't seen any games on the X. We've barely seen anything on the PS5. Honestly, I think they both would have done them a better service as companies to make this fall 2021. That's just my personal opinion.
There was one thing missing, Stag. Did you catch it?
Enough
just
to
like
play
I did?
on both systems right now. What? Sorry.
No, I liked how when they got to the BioWare thing and they're showing all the BioWare people outside, like it's like they're showing nothing about the game. People are outside and they're showing drawings and they're talking about the game. Dragon Age sounds like a very awesome game, but where is all the stuff with Anthem?
Oh, we're not.
No, like that's no. I think it should be brought up because like they're over here like it's all peaches. It's all peaches and cream over here. We're having great field trips to the woods, and we're getting in touch with our fanciful side, and we're just letting go of all the stuff that happened.
E3 2021. Y'all are funny. If you think we're gonna, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. But sorry, I just wanted to squeeze Anthem in there. I'm sorry, but I did.
We gotta squeeze it in all the time, man. That's what we gotta do.
But the bio, some of the javelins in the background. So, at first I was like, "Oh, is it going to be finally 2.0?" No,
dude. Yeah, the only javelin that they have that they showed you is the one that they paid for somehow, some way to be in the front of like whatever BioWare headquarters that was filmed in. I mean, you're just like, oh my God, really? How did they pay for that?
That's crazy. So, I mean, ultimately, Gamescom, I don't know what really anybody's expectation, because I honestly, leading up to Gamescom, I didn't really see much people talking about it. I mean, that's just the circles that I'm in. I didn't know anybody that was like, hey, man, you guys doing a reaction for Gamescom, anything like that. So it wasn't huge on my radar, especially because I knew kind of coming out of these events that we've already seen, a lot of what we need to see. And whatever is left over at this point is probably just going to be just more information on what we've already seen. So I wasn't super stoked for it anyway. I went in with no expectations. That's why I didn't even bother to watch the show. I just watched some of the trailers afterwards. But ultimately, let us know what you guys thought of the show. You can let us know in the chat as of right now, or throw a comment on the video, once it's up a little bit later on. But I think that is going to wrap things up today. We're actually going to finish on time today, which is awesome. But I appreciate you guys, everybody in the chat, Indy, Chris, Craig, Shonsu, everybody.
Gamescom. No, I'm just kidding. I have nothing to say.
Yeah, I was gonna say you said that earlier. You didn't.
I know. I just wanted to.
No, but once again, everybody, you guys are amazing. Every single week, you guys show up here. You guys give us support. You guys keep the chat going, keep the topics going. So thank you so much for the support here. We're gonna let everybody around, the chat talk, or not the chat, but the panel talk. So we'll start with you, Stag. Let everybody know what's going on with you, what's cooking up, what you got planned, anything new going forward, or.
I mean, nothing spectacular, but I will make the indie gamer happy because I adjusted my schedule. And Mondays and Tuesdays at 11 a.m., I will be showcasing indie titles. That's Pacific Standard. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Paladins, and same with Friday, or Saturday, excuse me. That's 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Saturdays and 8 p.m. to about 11. I do Paladins. I've been mixing in some other things, but man, just streaming and working on the garden and raising my boys. We're my youngest and I are actually getting into woodworking, so we're gonna be building some stuff soon. And if you follow me on the old what is it, Twitter, that shithole, yeah, you'll see pictures of the stuff my son and I build, so it'll be fun. And yeah, come on, check out a stream one of these days. You can hear me tell wonderful stories about my crazy neighbor. If you're late to the show or didn't see my Twitter this week, I had the cops called on me yesterday for telling her that I can't wait for her to move. But yeah, so that's about it. You can see me here most Saturdays, if not every Saturday. So thanks for having me as usual, guys. It's good to be here.
Awesome. Once again, thank you, Stagger, being here every single week. Super consistent, man. It's comedy relief for the entire podcast every week. But we appreciate you, brother. So let's go ahead and throw this over to you, Centurion. Let everybody know what's going on with you, what you got cooking up, man, and where can everybody find you at?
Well, I already talked about with you guys about how I am tired of dragging Master Chief and Halo Infinite out into the field and just beating that dead horse with a stick. So I already told you guys I want to start kind of just moving on from that and doing other videos. So for those of you that do want to check out my content, please follow me right here on YouTube at Centurion1307. I can also be found at Centurion1307 on Twitter and Xbox Live. You can also find me here every Saturday interrupting these guys and talking their ears off every Saturday. And I'm also on the TXR podcast every Sunday night.
Appreciate you, man, every single week with you as well, man. A huge addition to the podcast, man. Thank you so much for being here every single week. Last but not least, Mr. Fuzzy Belvedere, smooth voice, velvety voice over there. But yeah, what's going on with you? Let everybody know what's cooking up before they fall asleep, because you're going to start talking here soon.
Well, this coming week, we're going to be doing videos on the price announcements and pre-orders. Yeah, there's definitely going to be some, I would say within the next 2 weeks, we're going to see pricing and pre-orders starting to open up. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that and what to expect and where to order and hopefully get yours in time. And I don't think Amazon is going to be the place, unfortunately. But anyway, you can find me on Twitter, laughing at a lot of the toxicity as of late, or you can find me on Xbox Live, although right now mainly flying around in Flight Simulator. But yeah, it's just awesome talking to you guys about games. Great show as always. Great chat as always, man. Awesome to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Appreciate you, man. And last but not least, your boy PTK Blam. Hit me up on Xbox Live, PTK Blam. Hit me up on Twitter there as well. You guys can follow what's going on with the show. Anything new happening, events, guests, changes being made, new things being added. You follow me there first. Follow all my awesome panel mates here as well. All of that information's down below. You guys have been amazing. Once again, every single week, same place, same time, new guests, new week next week. So that'll be fun. Once again, look out for that poll of the week on Twitter on Mondays, usually early, sometimes like mid-Monday, depending on if I remember early in the morning. So, but usually I get that thing up pretty early. But I appreciate you guys, man. Tell people about us. Once again, retweet the link, put it everywhere, post the link everywhere you can possibly post it if you have other social medias as well. But I greatly appreciate you guys supporting this podcast and its growth over the time we've been here. We're looking to do some cool things. So we love feedback from you guys as well. But enjoy the rest of your weekend. Peace out. Be safe out there, everybody. See you next week.
Later.